Welcome back to the Coding Fanatic YouTube channel. I'm your host, Richard Clark, and I'm an Android developer with a focus on efficiency, whether it comes to learning new skills, working on your projects, or even navigating the workplace. Everything I do, I'm focused on the best way to get things done. If that sounds like something you are interested in, then don't forget to hit subscribe and turn on the bell notification so you can see when I upload new videos like this each week. If you're just joining us, then for the uninitiated, I'm working on a project for learning how to pull information from a real-time database and display it in an Android app. I recently created a list view which would show a list of names and pull it from the database and display it in the app. However, for some reason, the app appears blank. So right now I'm tackling a bug where the entire screen is blank and you can't see any of the information being pulled in. To rectify this bug, I started by going through my old code or through the code and going through the tutorial itself and going through every single step piece by piece until I narrowed down the cause of the issue. So the first thing I did was I updated my layout. Now I saw that I still had a default constraint layout, and I guess somewhere along the way during all the branch changes I might have not updated it, so I went in and I changed it to a relative layout just like the tutorial. I tried compiling, rebuilding the app, nothing, still wasn't working. So I looked through again, and turns out that I forgot to add the array list object to the array adapter constructor. Oops. So I updated it and rebuilt the app again, and still no luck. The screen was still blank. Now I'm confused because I'm looking through it and everything looks exactly the same as the tutorial. Like move for move, every line I have it practically like it's like a mirror image, except for my database reference object. Now, to take it back, a few weeks ago I looked at another tutorial on roottutorials.com, and when that didn't work, I decided to wait for these sirens to go by so I can keep talking. When I followed the RIP tutorials tutorial, I still had some leftover code in my project. And when I got to the end and it didn't work, I decided, well, I should keep it here in case the new tutorial references anything, and then I don't have to make as many changes. Just something that I'm used to doing. But it looks like my database reference object was still invoking the .child method from my work with the RIP tutorials tutorial, but this new one that I'm using does not invoke that method at all. So the reason why I'm seeing a blank app is because when I invoke that .child method, it's trying to find a specific entry in the real-time database and it's not there. But by removing the .child method, then now it can pull all the information from the real-time database, which is what I've been trying to do the whole time. Sure enough, I removed the invocation, rebuild the app, and everything works as it's supposed to. So what did I learn from this? Well, for starters, when you're working on a project and you're using a tutorial or anything like that, if it doesn't work, just delete your code and start over. Just do a brand new canvas. There's no reason to keep all that old code, because now keeping that old code in there caused a bug, and now I have to stop working to try and isolate the bug, and that ended up adding extra time to the amount of time I was putting into this project. So now it may take even longer for me to move forward to the next stage, all because of some dumb old code that was in there. And it's kind of silly too, right? Like, it's not as though I made some big error in following the directions. It was just an old line of code that was still in there, and it blended in so perfectly, especially when you're working on large scale projects too, or things that require a lot more code. It's even more difficult for you to isolate these bugs. So my advice to you, and something I learned from this, is you're working on a project, it doesn't work out, you're following a tutorial, if it doesn't work, just delete it, start over with a new one. When it comes to music, oftentimes, the maestros or the musicians, they make problems along the way. Like, they make mistakes, not problems. They'll trip themselves up, they'll miss a note here, they'll slur a word, they'll stumble, they'll, whatever along the way. But you're taught to keep flowing and keep going forward, so you don't notice it because they don't stop to acknowledge the mistake that they made. They just, keep going. And I kind of do something similar when I work with tutorials over the years, but now I'm finding that this is probably one of those really distinct small instances where those sirens are back again. This is one of those instances where it's okay to start over. I know that, like, for me, it's like I want to just keep it going, but sometimes you gotta know when to hold them and know when to fold them. Simple as that. So moving forward, anytime I'm following any tutorials, and I suggest you do the same, doesn't work out, delete your project, start over. Just start over. As for me, my next step with this project will be to implement this real-time database in a new project, and that will be the Salesman's Travel app that I have on the Play Store. So I'm going to go back and use everything I've learned to pull all those addresses, pull that information in from the real-time database and display it in my app. So, it's been a pretty interesting process thus far. I've learned a lot, but now it's time to use it and take what I've learned and apply it in a new project. Or new for me anyway. And so, that being said, thanks you all so much. Thank you all for tuning in. And let me know, what are your thoughts? When have you, tell me about a time when you have hit a snag in your project and it was because of a goofy bug that you introduced. And also tell me, what do you think? Do you agree that it's good to start over whenever you run into issues with tutorials? Or should you, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you should keep your old code and comment it out or something like that, or create a new branch. Well, you tell me, what method do you use? Let me know in the comments below. And of course, the project is linked in the description below. So if you want to check out my code, go ahead, take a look. If you're looking at creating list views and pulling information from a real-time database, the keys to the kingdom are right there. So once again, it's your host, Richard Clark, signing out. Thanks again for checking out one of my new videos. Join the Coding Fanatic mailing list on the Coding Fanatic website, and you can be the first to know when I have updates like these for projects, Android tutorials, career advice, and more. So, once again, thanks for tuning in. Hit comment, subscribe, and turn on notifications with the bell icon below, and I will see you all on the next one. Peace.